My Vietnamese mother-in-law has this habit. She loves taking my things and giving them away to others. And the worst part, the things she takes are getting more and more expensive. I tried bringing it up with my husband, but he just called me petty. He said I should just keep the peace and that a few trinkets weren't worth the fuss. Fine. If it's not happening to him, how could he possibly understand, right? Well, I decided it was time to let him feel it for himself. I was determined to have a serious talk with him because just moments ago I realized the luxury face cream my brother gave me was gone, a tiny 60 milliliters jar worth over 3 million dong. I scrambled through the house, but it was nowhere to be found. I went straight to my mother-in-law. She just shrugged and said, "Oh, Tong's younger sister dropped by earlier. I saw that jar sitting there, looking like you weren't even using it, so I told her to take it. It's just a waste to let it sit there." My head started spinning. Mom, that's not because I wasn't using it. It's because it's so expensive. I only dare to use a tiny bit at a time. That jar costs over 3 million and you just gave it away? She just glared at me. So what? You and Tong both have jobs. Just buy another one. She just graduated and doesn't have a job yet. What's wrong with giving her a little something? If you have money, you should look out for your relatives. Don't be so stingy. But that was a birthday gift from my brother. I couldn't even afford to buy it for myself. Then tell your brother to buy you another one since he's so rich. She snapped, threw her apron on the floor, and stormed out. I was so angry, my head dropped. This wasn't the first time. From small things like press-on nails to big appliances, everything I bought, she'd secretly give away to relatives just to maintain relationships. But in my eyes, she was just using my money to play the generous matriarch. Last time, it was a microwave, a prize I won at my company's year-end party. I hadn't even unboxed it before she gave it to Tong's uncle. Our old one was 3 years old, and I was planning to replace it. When I confronted her, she just said, "The old one still works fine. Stop being so small-minded." That night, Tong just sighed. "It was a gift from your company anyway, just let it go. Mom just likes to show off a bit. Don't take it too hard." I stayed mad for a few days, then let it slide. But then it got worse. The items got more valuable leading up to that 3 million dong cream. And her audacity to say, "Tell your brother to buy another one," was the final straw. I look at the list of things she'd given away. The nails, the kettle, the microwave, the oven, my luggage, all of them were brand new. I hadn't even used them yet. When Tung got home, he looked grumpy. Before I could say a word, he snapped, "Did you upset Mom again?" The anger boiled in my chest. I upset her? She's the one who upset me. She gave away the cream my brother gave me. It was over 3 million. Tung just frowned, hesitated for a second, then said, "Well, your brother gave it to you. You didn't spend your own money on it. If she gave it away, she gave it away." I looked at this man, my husband, who always sided with his mother. I felt a total sense of disappointment. "So, you're saying this is my fault?" I asked calmly. He laughed and tried to hug me. You know how mom is. She's like a child. You have to coax her. Don't hold a grudge. Just bear with her a little. I kicked him right in the shin. Get lost. I'm in my 20s. Why do I have to yield to a 50-year-old woman? What kind of nonsense is that? Go sleep in the study tonight. I slammed the door and locked him out. I truly didn't understand how he became like this. He never stood by me. He only wanted to make peace at my expense, which only made his mother more entitled. Everything changed 6 months ago when he brought her here to help with the housework so I wouldn't be so tired. Since then, I've become a stranger in my own home while they live comfortably. I finally saw through his sweet talk. You're the most important person to me? What a joke. He always puts his mother first and expects me to swallow my pride. But after 6 months, I'm done. I'm not a punching bag. I decided to call Tong's sister-in-law. Hey, why don't you and little Viet come over tomorrow? Didn't you say you'd bring him by? I'll cook something nice. She happily agreed. I hung up with a smirk. Tomorrow was going to be a very satisfying day. The next day, as soon as I got home, I went straight to the study. I took Tong's most prized fountain pen, a collector's item, and placed it in a lower drawer. Little Viet is almost 1.6 meters tall now. It would be right at his eye level. Tong was working late. My mother-in-law hadn't cooked in ages, so I prepared a feast and waited for the guests. When they arrived, I showered the sister-in-law with compliments. My mother-in-law was beaming, hugging her grandson. After dinner, I said, Viet, why don't you go into the study? I bought some books for you there. See if you like them. My mother-in-law chimed in. Go on. Grandma will take you. If you like any of them, Grandma will let you keep them. I smiled and went to wash the dishes. Sure enough, when I came out, Viet was holding the fountain pen case, looking at it with pure awe. You like that pen, Viet? I asked. He nodded. It's so cool, Auntie. Look at the dragon on it. I love dragons. I saw my mother-in-law approaching, so I gently took the box from him. This pen belongs to your Uncle Tung. It's very important to him. Let's wait until he gets home and ask him, okay? If he agrees, you can have it. The boy looked disappointed, but he nodded. My mother-in-law immediately stepped in, snatched the box, and shoved it back into Viet's hand. Who even uses fountain pens anymore? It's just cluttering the house. Viet rarely likes anything, just let him have it. I pretended to be conflicted. But Mom, it's Tong's. We should ask. She put her hands on her hips. Ask what? He told me himself yesterday. I can give away anything in this house to whoever I want. We aren't short on money. If he wants another one, he can buy it. I felt a chill. So that is what Tung told her. Fine. I was being way too kind. Okay, if you say so. Mom, I won't stop you. That's more like it. My grandson wants it, so he gets it. At 10 p.m., Tong stumbled home, reeking of alcohol. He went straight to the study. I followed him. Honey, Mom gave something away again. Tung was exhausted. He slammed a book on the floor. I'm tired, okay? Stop bringing up these trivial things. Don't you know how to be patient? I worked my tail off for you. and I come home to this nagging. You're so annoying. He was using the alcohol as an excuse to vent. I just nodded. Fine, I won't annoy you. Get some rest. As I walked out, I almost burst out laughing. If he knew that 10 million dong pen was gone, I wondered if he'd still call me annoying. The next morning, Tong woke me up with a guilty smile. I'm sorry about last night, babe. You know how I get when I'm drunk. I went too far. I'll buy you those steamed buns you love tonight, okay? I just rolled my eyes. The old scores weren't settled yet. I was going to land a blow so hard he'd finally realize his mother's behavior was unacceptable. Every 3 months, she goes back to her hometown for a few days, and every time she harvests things from our house to give to her relatives. Her next trip was in 2 weeks. That evening, I bought 2 bottles of wine, one red and one fruit wine. Under her watchful eyes, I placed them in Tong's wine cabinet, locked it, and hid the key in a flower pot on the balcony. Wow, this looks so expensive, I whispered to myself, making sure she could hear. Any connoisseur would be jealous. These are rare finds. Over the next few days, I constantly played wine tasting shows on TV at full volume. The guests on screen were gasping and raving about rare vintages. Lin Dong, my mother-in-law asked, "Is that wine really as amazing as they say?" I nodded vigorously. "Oh, Mom, you have no idea. It's a status symbol. People who know their wine would do anything for a bottle. Have you heard of Mao Tai? To a collector, it's like gold. If you serve this, everyone will look up to you." She nodded thoughtfully. "Your eldest uncle mentioned it once, though he's never tasted it." I smirked. "Well, he doesn't have it, but we do. If he saw this, he'd be green with envy." Over the next 2 weeks, I polished her mind. I even drank some myself, making exaggerated sounds. She'd say, "Don't drink too much, it's not good for you." And I'd reply, "I can't help it, Mom. It's too delicious. I'll buy more for the sister-in-law next time she comes." Actually, I hated it and was secretly mixing it with juice. Finally, the day came for her trip. I offered to help her pack, but she insisted on doing it herself. As soon as I got home from work, I checked the cabinet. 3 bottles were missing, 2 Mao Tais and 1 Wuliangke. She certainly knew how to pick them. Total value, combined with the pen, it was nearly 20 million dong, more than enough to cover my losses. Tung discovered the missing wine 3 days later. He usually invites colleagues over when his mom is away. I had the food ready. He went to the cabinet. Within a minute, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the house. I hid my smile, turned off the stove, and ran over. "What happened? Why are you screaming?" Tung was pale. "Did you take the bottles?" "What? No, I don't even like that stuff. Why would I take them?" I looked into the cabinet and gasped. "Oh my god! The Maltais are gone? Is there a burglar? Should I call the police?" Tung stopped me. The laptop was there. The medals were there. He realized something and dialed his mom immediately. "Mom, did you touch my wine cabinet?" I could hear her over the phone, surrounded by loud voices. "Oh, yes, your eldest uncle is thrilled. He said he's never had anything so good in his life. He was so happy I just gave him the 3 bottles." He's already finished half a bottle and is hiding the rest for later. I saw the veins on Tong's hand bulging. He gripped the phone like he wanted to crush it. Mom, why didn't you ask me? Do you have any idea how much those cost? It's just some wine. Don't be so dramatic. Everyone here is praising how successful you are. I'm so proud. It's just a few bottles. We're eating now. Goodbye. Tung collapsed. I pretended to be worried. Should we still have the colleagues over? He just closed his eyes. Now you know how it feels, Tung. You belittled my cream. Now I don't give a damn about your wine. You only understand the pain when it's your own skin being flayed. After the guests left, Tung was slumped on the sofa. I walked over, planning to let him into the bedroom, but he spoke first. Don't tease me. When Mom gets back, I'm going to have a real talk with her. No more giving things away. My kindness vanished. I was going to suggest that. Remember when I told you she was giving things away and you threw a book at me? I was trying to tell you she gave away your fountain pen. Tung jumped up like he'd been electrocuted. What? I tried to stop her, but she said you told her she could take anything. She said the pen was nothing compared to her grandson. Tung turned beet red. He called his sister-in-law. The pen Viet took. Did he use it? What? He already put ink in it? That was for my boss? Never mind. If it's used, I can give it to him. Bye. He sighed. I'm sorry, Doan. I lost control. I know it's not your fault. I'm just so angry. I laughed coldly and went to my room. Something felt wrong. I realized Tung's affection for me was shallow. His reflexive insults weren't an act. Our marriage had a crack that couldn't be fixed. I hid recording devices in the living room and study before his mom came back. I wanted to hear what they really said when I wasn't around. When I listened to the recording later, I went cold. Mom, you've gone too far, Tong's voice said. Before, you took things and I let it slide because they were Don's, but these were mine. So what? It was just a pen. And the wine made me look so good in front of the family. Mom, those were millions of dong. Look, from now on, if you want to give stuff away, take Dong's things. She has plenty of nice stuff from her brother. Take hers, and I won't say a word, but leave my stuff alone. I felt like I was in a freezer. He was literally telling her to steal from me to protect his own pocket. Then his mom's voice. You're right. I thought her family was rich, but it's just her brother. Who knows if she'll ever see that money? She's so stingy. That little bitch actually complained to you about me? I froze. She called me a bitch? Dong replied, just be careful. We keep our money separate, but she pays for most of the household stuff anyway. If you take her things, I won't stop you. And then, the final blow. Mom, Dong said, her brother isn't married. If he never marries, his wealth goes to her. Get her to have a kid soon, or maybe we can find a way to make her adopt your grandson from the other woman. That way she'll be too busy to notice what we're doing. Good idea. His mom laughed. I sat there, trembling. Tong had a secret child. He was cheating on me, and his mother knew they were planning to take my brother's money. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just felt a cold heart resolve. The next morning, Tung was all smiles. He cooked my favorite breakfast. He started talking about having a baby. I felt nauseous when he touched me. I made an excuse that my friend was suicidal to get out of the house. I went to my best friend, a lawyer. I cried my heart out. Then I went to my brother. When he heard the recording, he was ready to kill Tung. I want him penniless, I hissed. I want him humiliated, and I want his mother's reputation destroyed. We investigated. It was worse than I thought. Tung wasn't just cheating, he was seducing wives of business partners to get contracts. And his mom, she had a criminal record for shoplifting years ago. They weren't a family, they were a nest of vipers. I met Tung at a restaurant with my lawyer friend. He was smiling, eating a shrimp. Tung, let's get a divorce. He choked. What? Are you kidding? Is this a joke? No joke. Sign the papers. You'll leave with nothing. He started screaming. Nothing? You're crazy. I haven't done anything wrong. I just looked at him with pity. The drama was over. Now, the real fight begins. I let out a bitter laugh. No major conflicts? That's only because I believed a marriage required effort from both sides. I endured everything I could just to keep things peaceful. But think about it, Tong. If I realized this entire marriage was a mistake from the start, why should I endure anything anymore? Tung frowned. What are you talking about? I pulled out the recording and pressed play. I didn't care that we were in public. I wasn't the one who should feel ashamed. After just the first few sentences, Tung's face went ghost white. He knew exactly what came next. You set me up? You dared to record me? I hit pause. I just wanted to hear what you and your mother really had to say. I didn't need you to defend me. All I wanted was for her to admit she was wrong and promise to stop giving my things away. If she had done that, I would have forgiven her. I would have kept trying for this marriage. But instead, do you know how many disgusting things I overheard? Tung began to get agitated, but he tried to keep his cool. He rubbed his temples, his eyes no longer holding a shred of tenderness. I don't agree to a divorce. If you're so brave, sue me. Just as I expected, Tang wasn't going to give up easily, especially when I demanded he leave with nothing. He had made a decent living over the years. There was no way he'd just walk away. He probably thought that with just one recording, a court wouldn't strip him of everything. To him, a legal battle was a better bet. Even if the marriage failed, he'd keep his money. I looked into his ice-cold eyes. He felt like a complete stranger. He had never looked at me like that before. Fine, I said. I'll file the lawsuit. Tung grabbed his briefcase, shot a cold glare at me and Lin, and stood up to leave. He stumbled slightly, tripping over the table leg, perhaps because he got up too fast. They say you never know which comes first, tomorrow or a disaster. Before I could even finalize my legal strategy, disaster struck, or perhaps it was an answer to my prayers. While I was gathering evidence for the divorce, I got a call. Tung had collapsed at work. By the time he reached the hospital, his heart had stopped a ruptured cerebral aneurysm. I was stunned. Those headaches he complained about after our fights, they were real. The dizziness he felt the day I asked for a divorce, that was real too. He was sick, and none of us knew. It wasn't that karma didn't exist, it just took its time. In the end, the universe took care of him for me. I asked Lynn to come to the hospital with me. She leaned in and whispered, "Get the cremation done immediately, then get someone to scrub the house clean." I understood. After informing my mother-in-law of Tong's death, I let Lin bring a team to my house to deep clean and disinfect everything. My mother-in-law wailed at the hospital like the sky was falling. After a few chaotic days of funeral rites, Tong's body was cremated. During that time, I erased every trace of him from the house. I burned his clothes and personal belongings until nothing was left. A week later, my mother-in-law finally calmed down enough to think about one thing: the inheritance. "Fine," I said. "We'll divide it according to the law." She gave me a sly, knowing smile and made a phone call. From her tone, I knew she was calling Tong's secret child. I immediately called Lin and my brother over. An hour later, the house was packed. My mother-in-law was cradling a young boy, smothering him with kisses, while his mother stood nearby with a gentle, modest smile. "Tong, this is my grandson," my mother-in-law announced. "He is entitled to a share of the inheritance." I feigned shock. "You mean Tong's child?" She got defensive. "Yes, Tong's flesh and blood. Illegitimate children have legal inheritance rights now, so a chunk of Tong's assets belongs to this boy." The mistress smiled sweetly. "Sister, please understand, it hasn't been easy for us. Tong didn't leave us much. I'm not greedy, we just want what's legally ours." I wiped a fake tear. "I don't believe it. I don't believe Tong would have a child behind my back. He loved me so much. How could he have another woman?" My mother-in-law jumped up, hands on her hips. "You're a barren hen who couldn't produce an egg. Of course he went elsewhere. My daughter-in-law here knows how to provide an heir. Now let's divide the property." I remained calm. "I don't agree to give anything to this child. If you insist, let the law decide. I will abide by whatever the court rules." "Fine. Don't regret it later," she barked as she led her entourage out. As soon as the door closed, I burst into laughter through my tears. Lynn was laughing right along with me. "Perfect! Now we have the legal standing to claw back every cent of the marital assets from that mistress." My brother made a few calls to gather evidence. Tong had bought a house, a car, and jewelry for his mistress. Every single cent he spent on her, I was going to demand back. I had trusted him so much, but it was all a play. He lived off me, ate my food, stayed in my house, and used his own salary to support a second family. My mother-in-law had no idea her sure win was about to crash and burn. When the court ordered a DNA test to prove paternity, she froze. The mistress went pale. She was a fresh college graduate. She wasn't prepared for the cold slap of reality. I hope she learned her lesson. Being a mistress with no legal standing is a dead-end road. In court, my mother-in-law threw a tantrum. "He's already been cremated. How can you do a test now? The court suggested a sibling or grandpaternity test using the grandparents' DNA. My mother-in-law wailed even louder. My husband has been dead for years. Where am I supposed to get a sample? Because Tung had kept the child a secret from everyone except his mother, there was now no way to legally prove the boy was his. She sat on the court bench, looking like a hollow shell. I walked up to the mistress and smiled. Actually, I have more good news for you. She looked at me with bloodshot eyes. What good news could you possibly have? You won. My son gets nothing. Are you happy now? I smirked. Oh, I'm ecstatic. But there's more. Wait for the next court summons. I've sued you to recover all the marital funds Tung spent on you. The car, the apartment, the jewelry, you're gonna pay me back every single penny. She screamed. Are you even human? The child is so small. How can you do this? I shrugged. My fight is with you, not the kid. He's not mine, so why should I be kind to him? Don't be ridiculous, sweetie.